Tucked behind Hampstead's ancient trees and guarded gates, a $13 million fortress rises not in extravagance, but in intention. This is no ordinary footballer's mansion. It's a temple of precision, peace, and personal legacy. Here lives Harry Kane, England's all-time top scorer. But what kind of man builds a sanctuary like this? Today, we step inside the walls where goals are not just scored, but lived. Before the mansions, before the medals, before the mural that now bears his name in Tottenham, there was a boy in Chingford, with muddy boots and something to prove. Harry Kane didn't come from a football dynasty. He wasn't born with a golden boot. He was born in East London, to a modest family, in a modest home, just 15 minutes from White Hart Lane. From the very beginning, the ball seemed to follow him. At Ridgeway Rovers, a local youth team, Harry was the kid who didn't stop running. But talent wasn't enough. At age 8, he was signed by Arsenal, only to be let go for being a bit chubby and not athletic enough. Most would have taken that rejection as fate. But Harry? He saw it as fuel. He returned to Ridgeway Rovers, then to Watford, then finally, a second chance at Tottenham. Still, nothing came easy. He wasn't fast, he wasn't tall. Coaches questioned whether he had it, but Kane had something rarer, an obsession with improvement. He studied the greats, Teddy Sheringham, Beckham, Defoe, Ronaldo, watched YouTube clips of Brazilian strikers late into the night. And then came the loans. Leyton Orient, Millwall, Norwich, Leicester. 4 clubs, 4 different shirts, 4 lessons in grit. It wasn't glamorous, but it was formative. At Millwall, he found his confidence. At Leicester, he found his edge. And by the time he returned to Tottenham in 2014, something had shifted. He wasn't the same boy anymore. When Mauricio Pochettino gave him a shot, Kane delivered. Goal after goal, derby after derby. And in the blink of a season, he went from backup striker to England's most wanted. The 2014-15 season changed everything. Premier League Young Player of the Year, 21 league goals, a fan base reborn. And yet, Kane never celebrated like a superstar. He celebrated like a son who had something to prove to the street that raised him. From there, the numbers piled up. Golden boots, Champions League finals, England captaincy, World Cup golden boot, Bundesliga records shattered in a single season, 100 goals for Bayern Munich in just 104 games, and through it all, the injuries, the transfers, the heartbreaks, Kane kept returning to what mattered most: consistency, family, and the quiet belief that greatness isn't shouted, it's earned. Because Kane's story isn't about explosive talent. It's about controlled fire. A fire that started in the parks of Walthamstow and lit up stadiums from Wembley to Munich. But after every match, after every roaring stadium, where does he go? Where does the boy from Chingford now lay his head, raise his children, and finally, breathe? Let's find out. Mansion in London. You'd never guess it from the outside. Tucked behind secure iron gates and nestled in one of London's most prestigious enclaves, Harry Kane's home doesn't scream for attention. It whispers. Whispers of discipline, of love, of battles fought, and battles won. This isn't the palace of a man chasing clout. It's the fortress of a man who already has everything that matters. Welcome to Kane's $13 million sanctuary. A custom-designed mansion perched quietly behind the lush borders of the Hampstead golf course. Here, serenity is not a feature. It's the foundation. From the moment the gates part and your car rolls down the crescent-shaped driveway, there's a sense that you're entering another world. The manicured hedges, the whisper of water from the garden fountain, the silence of a home that holds its breath. At first glance, it feels like modern art. But step inside, and you'll feel its heartbeat. The grand foyer is bathed in natural light from a spectacular floor-to-ceiling skylight. Sunlight pours in like spotlight on a silent stage, casting shadows across pale stone floors and glass balustrades. Every surface feels deliberate, a harmony of neutral tones, subtle textures, and unspoken elegance. This isn't loud luxury. It's legacy in soft lighting. The home stretches across an astonishing 16,749 square feet, 4 levels of tailored living. But Kane didn't fill this house to impress. He filled it to live, to breathe, to recover. The heart of the home lies in the open-plan living space. Plush, understated furniture arranged around a sleek marble fireplace, flanked by built-in bookshelves and curated family photos. Floor-to-ceiling windows fold open to reveal a private garden, not just grass and trees, but a landscape designed with silence in mind. And just beyond it, the Hampstead golf course stretches into the horizon. It's more than a view. It's therapy. Follow the hallway and you'll find a chef's kitchen that balances warmth with performance. Dark wood cabinetry, quartz countertops, and professional-grade appliances that whisper of late-night nutrition plans and family pancake mornings. Then comes the true marvel, the wellness wing. Few homes in London boast what Harry Kane has built here. A full-scale indoor spa complex, complete with a lap pool lined in blue mosaic, a steam room, a sauna, and a Zen relaxation deck. This isn't just indulgence. It's preparation. It's recovery. It's the secret to Kane's decade-long consistency, hiding in plain sight. Adjacent to the pool, a private gym that feels like a boutique training studio. Think natural light, rubber flooring, Kane's jerseys framed on the walls, and equipment that would rival any club's training ground. Here, focus echoes off the walls. Climb the sculpted staircase, or take the silent glass elevator, and you'll reach the private quarters. 6 bedrooms in total, each a self-contained suite. But the master, it's a retreat within a retreat. A cavernous space softened with earth-toned linens and textured panels, floor-to-ceiling drapes that hush the world. A marble-clad ensuite bathroom with a soaking tub beneath a skylight and a walk-in wardrobe designed like a boutique. Katie, his wife, has a section dedicated to her own quiet elegance, clean lines, soft colors, and the fragrance of everyday grace. The children's bedrooms, 4 of them, reflect joy without chaos. Soft pastels, animal murals, and one surprise feature, a built-in reading nook shaped like a mini stadium. Yes, here, even story time is inspired by football. Downstairs, the entertainment level completes the story. There's a private cinema with velvet recliners, a games lounge with vintage arcade cabinets and a full-size snooker table, and tucked into the corner, a media room, where Kane, Katie, and the kids gather to watch replays, movies, or just escape. Outside, the rear garden is Kane's personal Eden. Landscaped to perfection, it includes a fire pit for cold evenings, a small outdoor kitchen, and a curved pathway leading to a hidden meditation bench. Legend has it, this is where Kane sat the night before signing with Bayern, a moment of reflection, of gratitude, of beginnings and endings. It's in this garden that Harry teaches his kids how to pass a ball. It's here that birthdays are held, that family barbecues stretch into laughter-filled evenings. And it's here, far from the chants, the headlines, the cameras, that Harry Kane simply becomes dad. Because this home isn't just where Harry Kane lives, it's where he resets, where he heals, where he reminds himself who he is, not the striker, not the captain, not the icon, but the boy from Chingford who made good. And while this house may cost millions, the way it holds his life together, that's priceless. Not all riches shine in gold. Some are built in silence, earned quietly, with every goal, every sweat-soaked training session, every decision that looked boring, but turned out to be brilliant. Harry Kane is not the type to flaunt. He doesn't throw parties in Ibiza. He doesn't wear diamond watches on the sidelines. But make no mistake, Harry Kane is rich. Very rich. With an estimated net worth of $40 million, Kane has become one of football's most consistently paid stars, not by chasing transfers, but by mastering loyalty. His time at Tottenham wasn't just a career. It was an empire built slowly, season by season, with performance bonuses, loyalty incentives, and multi-year deals that respected his craft. There are no yachts with his name, no skyscrapers in Dubai. But there are classrooms in North London where kids dream bigger because Harry Kane paid for the pitch they play on. There are families in hospice care who smile because Kane showed up quietly. No cameras, just presence. In an age where so many flaunt before they've earned, Harry Kane has done the opposite. He earned, then gave, then built a life that doesn't need to shout. Because true fortune isn't loud. It's secure. It's disciplined. It's lived behind the gates of a Hampstead mansion, and in the values passed down to 4 small children who call him Dad. But what do you do when the goals are scored, the contracts are signed, and the fortune is secure? For some, it's about collecting. For others, displaying. But for Harry Kane, it was always about giving. Not just money, but time. Not just headlines, but heart. Because for every luxury he owns, there's a purpose he serves. And if his feet brought him fame, his character led him somewhere even more powerful, into the lives of those who needed him most. Philanthropy. It's easy to assume that footballers give for the press, for the cameras, for the PR glow that fades with the next transfer rumor. But Harry Kane never followed the script. He rewrote it. In silence. It began in the middle of a global crisis. The world was standing still. Football stadiums were empty. Fear and uncertainty were louder than any crowd. And Harry, newly a father and national captain, could have disappeared into comfort. Instead, he picked up the phone. $130,000. That was the number. A personal donation to help League Two side Leyton Orient. Not to keep the club afloat, but to use their shirts as a message board of gratitude. Not for himself, but for the NHS. Soon, 3 logos appeared on their kits. One thanking the health service, another for the mental health charity Mind, and a third for Haven House, a children's hospice. That gesture sparked a pattern, quiet, consistent, and deeply human. Because for Harry Kane, giving wasn't about making a splash. It was about leaving ripples that reached the people no one clapped for. In 2019, he became the official ambassador for Noah's Ark Children's Hospice, a North London sanctuary for children with life-limiting conditions. He didn't just attend events or pose for photos. He listened. He read stories on hospital beds. He whispered words of encouragement that no reporter ever recorded. And when he launched the Harry Kane Foundation in 2022, the mission was clear: to normalize mental health conversations, to encourage emotional resilience in youth, to use his platform not to shine, but to guide. He knew the pressure. The roar of a missed penalty, the silence after a bad game, the sleepless nights before a final. He also knew, especially after becoming a father of 4, that young people often suffer in silence. And if he, a global football icon, could speak up, maybe they could too. That's why the foundation funds not just access to sport, but mental strength coaching, school visits, and community outreach. Harry personally visits schools, not just for a handshake and selfie, but to tell his story. How Arsenal cut him, how coaches doubted him, how he kept showing up. It's these stories of being overlooked, of pushing through doubt, that resonate most with kids who've been told they're not enough. But Harry doesn't just fund youth. He fights for justice. He's a vocal supporter of the Show Racism the Red Card campaign, participating in media campaigns and education programs across the UK. He's spoken about diversity in football, inclusion in sports, and the need for equality at all levels, from the locker room to the boardroom. Off the field, he's worked with organizations addressing youth suicide prevention and has donated anonymously to multiple mental health helplines. He said it himself. Football is beautiful, but brutal. And if we can't talk about the weight we carry, we'll never lift it. It's a powerful truth, made even more meaningful by the man who lives it. Harry Kane's charity is not performative. It's not branded, it's not loud, it's honest, it's grounded, and it's changing lives. One conversation, one child, one quiet act of kindness at a time. Because the true legacy of a striker isn't measured in goals alone, it's measured in the hearts he chooses to carry with him, long after the final whistle. Personal life. It all began in the schoolyard. Before the goals, the boots, the armbands, Harry Kane met a girl named Katie. Not in a luxury suite, not at a celebrity party, but in the hallways of Chingford Foundation School, where both were just teenagers with dreams and messy schedules. And while Harry went on to chase football across the country, Katie stayed, steady, quiet, and present. Years later, when the spotlight finally found him, she was still there, not as a new love interest, but as a witness to the entire journey. In 2017, Harry proposed. In 2019, they married, and today they are the proud parents of 4 children, 2 daughters and 2 sons, all under one roof in their Hampstead haven. But what does a day look like for Harry Kane, once the roar of the crowd has faded? It's not paparazzi, it's pancakes. Mornings often begin early, not for training, but for school runs and cereal spills. Harry is known to walk his kids to the car himself, wearing joggers, a hoodie, and the content smile of a man who understands the preciousness of routine. Afternoons might include light recovery sessions, a few hours of golf, his favorite sport outside of football, or reviewing training data with his personal performance coach. But when evening comes, the house belongs to the children. There are family dinners at the long oak table, bedtime stories in softly lit bedrooms, laughter echoing through the cinema room. Sometimes there's football on the screen, sometimes just cartoons. But what grounds this superstar most isn't the luxury. It's the simplicity. Harry doesn't drink during the season, a personal choice rooted in discipline. He hired a full-time chef not for glamour, but for tailored nutrition. He plays golf with a 3 handicap, not to show off, but to stay mentally balanced. And every year, he still visits Chingford, where his parents live in the same neighborhood that shaped him. And then, there are the dogs, 2 Labradors, Brady and Wilson. Yes, named after NFL quarterbacks. But there's no branding here, no show. Just Harry, Katie, the kids, and 2 overexcited pups chasing tennis balls across their manicured garden. They say you can tell a man by what he collects. Harry Kane collects moments. He doesn't chase headlines, he protects memories, like reading bedtime stories, like watching his wife smile from across the kitchen, like hearing his daughter cheer, "Daddy scored," from the living room. He's been immortalized in murals, in statues, in record books. But the version he treasures most is the one behind closed doors. The husband, the father, the man who chooses stillness. And perhaps that's the truest form of success. Not just living your dream, but doing it without ever losing who you are. So now you've seen the goals, the gates, and the garden where greatness sleeps. But beyond the mansion, the money, and the medals, what stays with you? If Harry Kane's quiet strength moved you, imagine who we'll meet next. Subscribe, like, and share, because the next story is just behind the next door.